One thing you should know about me is I don't really care for speculation, so when I see people trying to guess what video they think I'm going to make next, chances are it won't be that one. So I've had a few comments saying that the first local train I would review would be the Oscar, but I can confirm that today that won't be the case. Instead of focusing on the Oscar in today's video, we're going to start with something else and leave the weird speculation to cryptocurrency miners, Elon Musk and the Illuminati. Good morning and welcome back to Talking Planning. Today I'm on the train and this is a Endeavour class railcar and this is on the way to Muswellbrook, so join me for the ride. The Endeavour first entered service in March 1994, wearing this rather interesting livery and sporting the City Rail branding. In 2009 and 2010, the more familiar blue and yellow City Rail colours were introduced, which I think really cleaned up the look of the Endeavour. A couple of them have now even been repainted into New South Wales Trainlink orange, of which I'm not sure I'm a fan. Back to the delivery. The Endeavour was originally set to replace all 620/720 series railcars, which entered service in the early 60s, but thanks to operational changes, the 620/720 survived until 2007 when the Hunter railcars entered service. Over the years, the Endeavour railcars have been refurbished and now sport the same seat fabric and seat design as the Oscar and Hunter railcars. This has freshened up their appearance, but the interior of the Endeavour train is still very plain compared to newer models. The seats are reversible, which is nice, but for longer services the seats lack padding. This isn't the end of the world if you're only travelling from Newcastle interchange to Talara, but if you're on a scone service, or even worse, a Bathurst bullet, I can imagine you're going to have a numb bum by the end. The Endeavour railcars also operate services on the Southern Highlands line and the Illawarra line between Bomaderry and Kiama. One crumb of comfort is that the Endeavour has a decent top speed, which should hopefully cut down on journey lengths, leading to less numb bums. Since this is the first diesel train I've reviewed, let's talk engines. Each car has a Cummins KTA 19R diesel engine with a Voith hydraulic transmission, which gives you plenty of go and allows you to reach a top speed of 160 km an hour. But in service, that's limited to 145. Still, for a regional train, that's pretty brisk, so let's have a quick listen now. Before I move on, let's talk about the Endeavour's cousin, the Explorers, with an X. They are mechanically identical, but are designed to be more comfortable for those longer journeys to destinations like Armidale, Moree, Broken Hill, Griffith and Canberra. I haven't had the chance to travel on one of these as yet, but maybe I'll have to give one a go when I get some free time. Back to the Endeavour. These trains play an important role in Newcastle specifically. Secondary cities in Australia tend to only be connected by intercity trains, and local services are provided solely by buses. Newcastle is the odd one out, having a local train network, a light rail line, a bus network and a cross-river ferry. Many regional centres like the Sunshine Coast, Geelong, Wollongong and Mandurah are bus only once you leave the mainline rail network. Toowoomba doesn't even receive commuter rail services from Brisbane. Now sure, the Gold Coast has a tram line, but it also has a much larger population, plus getting from key destinations like Surfers Paradise and Broadbeach to the main train line at Helensvale, Nerang or Robina takes a lot longer than getting from Hunter Street Mall to Newcastle Interchange. So given the unique situation of Newcastle, being fortunate enough to have its own suburban rail network, but also having a relatively small population, means that the two-carriage railcar seems to be pretty appropriate to catering to passenger demand. To maximise seating capacity, both the Hunter railcars and Endeavours use a 3-2 seating layout, but unlike the Hunter cars, Endeavours don't have much dedicated standing space, and the smaller doors make boarding and alighting slower. This means they are probably better suited to the longer distance limited stop services like the Scone, Muswellbrook and Dungog trains rather than Talara runs. Given that the Endeavour is starting to get on in years, New South Wales Trainlink is already planning their replacement, with Transport for New South Wales signing a contract for 117 CAF Civity bi-mode carriages, which can operate both using diesel power and overhead electricity. The first Civity trains are due to commence service sometime in 2023, meaning you still have a little while to enjoy the Endeavours, Explorers and XPT series trains, which the Civity is expected to replace. The Civity is widely used throughout Europe, operating in Italy, Montenegro, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom and Sweden. It's going to be interesting to see how they compare to existing rolling stock here, and to see how they work in both long distance and short distance operational environments. So, I think that's a wrap on the Endeavour series railcar, but if you're still with me, I saw this great freight train coming along featuring a real mix of locomotives while waiting to catch one of the Endeavours. I don't tend to talk or film much about freight, but it was quite a cool sight, so sit back and relax. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.